Renault Logan, Science 2014. Hello everyone! It is worth noting that the first Logan that came off the vast conveyor did not differ in high-quality assembly. On some machines the body panels were skewed and the gaps were uneven. The drivers during the chunket were especially badly adjusted, which rubbed against the bumper when driving. In the cabin the sloppy fitting of parts was also conspicuous. For example, on some cars the air conditioning drain pipe was not properly routed and water accumulated on the floor at the passenger's feet, and on others the door trim was crooked. Only after a year and a half of refinement and debugging of the technology process the settings acquired the proper appearance. With age, the steering wheel and gear lever are very quickly wrapped in the cabin, and the hard door upholstery wipes the door panels to the metal. But the rest of the interior elements are doing well. The paintwork, although not particularly durable, is much stronger than that of Korean and Japanese competitors. The weak point of the body is rear wheel arches and seals. They are usually protected with an armor film. Do not bother about cracks at the junction of the rear pillars with the roof. There will be no corrosion or other negative consequences. But with the installation of additional sound insulation, many owners immediately agree, although compared to the first Logan, the second generation of the setting has become noticeably quieter. In addition, this operation allows you to get rid of crickets, which become more numerous in the cabin with age. After all, the plastic used in interior decoration is quite hard, and creaking in the cabin is possible even on fresh cars. A set of ancient castle forces of the K7M and K4M series with a capacity of 82 and 102 forces, respectively, with the second Logan inherited from its predecessor. Engines are simply indestructible. In general, they remain the same after the localization of production in Toliati. For Renault Logan 2, the junior Caravan M unit was significantly upgraded. A more reliable camshaft and catalyst were installed on it, and the software were also updated. But the 102 horsepower engine has not changed much. Both units are sharpened to Euro 5 environmental standards. I must say that for the weakest 82 horsepower for such a transition was quite painful. In cold weather there were problems with starting the engine. However, the French quickly made a new firmware, which completely relieved the engine of the problem of cold start and floating speed. And for the K4M unit, the updated software solved the problem with a cold start, but the floating speed remained a headache for the owners. Only comprehensive measures helped with the use of new software and the replacement of intake manifold and throat valve gasket. On both engines, a two-cell battery is installed in the timing drive, the replacement of which is prescribed every 60,000 kilometers. However, Renault decided to increase the interval to 90,000 while the related parts of the mechanism remained the same. Therefore, in order to avoid premature breakage of the belt, we advise you to adhere to the old regulations. But on the H4M series engine, known for mainly Nissan engineered model SHI600E, a metal chain is installed in the gas distribution mechanism drive. Moreover, the engine has earned a reputation as a powerful, reliable and durable unit. According to the salesman, this fuel will easily soar more than 300,000 kilometers before overhaul. True, subject to a reduction in oil changes from 15,000 kilometers, recommended by the manufacturer to 10,000 kilometers. Therefore, our recommendations are not at all an empty phrase. By the way, the production of the H4M series motor is localized in Toliati. They say that its quality and durability it does not differ from its prototype. All three engines are initially mated to a JH3 manual 5-speed transmission. The base unit can also be equipped with an Easy R single-plate clutch robot based on the JH3 manual gearbox. However, this transmission did not take root on the Renault Logan 2, and literally a year after its appearance in mid-2015, the modification with the robot disappeared from the sedan model line. The main reason are the failures of the control electronic thoughtfulness when switching and frequent adjustment of the clutch setting point. But the mechanics are unconditionally reliable and durable. As they say, it dies with the car and more often it survives it. However, the manual gearbox does not have a reverse gear synchronizer, which is why the inclusion can occur with a crunch. This is a design feature of the box and should be taken for granted. And salesmen also advise updating the oil in the unit every 90,000 to 120,000 kilometers, and then the manual transmission will definitely outlive the engine. But you can say the same about the DP2 automatic transmission. The joint development of the Persons, Citroën and Renault concert is not the most outstanding creation of French engineers. The box does not like sharp stars, slipping in a mud or snow is strictly contraindicated for it. Created exclusively for urban use. But it has been repeatedly upgraded, so today with timely and competent service it will last up to 200,000 kilometers. The whole body can be called a weak unit of the unit. As soon as the fuel does inject, when shifting gears urgently go to the service. In this case, the sooner you apply, the more likely you are to get off with an inexpensive repair. Clutch, on the other hand, burn from abrupt starts from a place and high loads due to the low performance of the coolant system. Although the latest version of the machine DP2 are well equipped with an upgraded heat exchanger. However, not everything is so bad. But for the suspension, that kind of money is definitely not needed. The only weak point here can be recognized as ball bearings, which are assembled with levers and of course change only as a set. Approximately the same amount and even more within the stabilizer struts and bushings. But shock absorbers can last up to 120 to 150,000 kilometers. Moreover, both the springs and shock absorbers are suitable from the first generation car. And that's almost all, because there is practically nothing to break in the rear suspension. In steering, road ends are at risk, which nevertheless serve an average of 6,000 kilometers. But the rail itself doesn't cause problems up to 120,000 kilometers. There were no problems in the braking system either. You should not chase after the original parts, which are characterized by excessive hardness and quickly worn discs, so you have to update both consumables. It is better to purchase a high quality and cheaper non-original, which will last a little less, but you will change the disc after 2 or 3 part replacement. At each MOT, check the condition of the switch joints. Their answers must be intact and without oil leakage. If the oil seals are leaky or grease has leaked out of them, the grenade will very quickly become unusable, and it costs a lot of money. In electrical equipment, the bulbs of dimensions, brake lights and type beam are often lit, and the left steering columns, which often refuse to execute commands or vice versa, spontaneously turn on the high beam. The nose usually changes entirely. Often the fuel level indicator blinds and the windshield heating for many works only halfway. Well, in general, the second generation Logan is comparable in terms of reliability and maintains cost to the first generation car. If you don't want problems in the future, you should not take a modification with an automatic with high mileage. Not the best option in a car with the first years of production. However, they are not included in our review. If you have had such a model, share information about what and how it breaks in the comments.